What do a war criminal, a real estate developer, a Nepo baby, and the president of the World Bank Group have in common? They all sit on Trump's Executive Board of Peace, set to govern Gaza. On January 15, 2026, Donald Trump formalized a governance framework he called the Board of Peace, designed to oversee Gaza's supposed stabilization and long-term success. But leaked charter documents revealed something else. Countries seeking permanent membership on the board must contribute at least $1 billion within the first year. Non-paying members receive only 3-year renewable terms, subject to Trump's personal approval. And there's more. The charter names Donald J. Trump as chairman, not president of the United States. Trump retains veto power over all decisions with exclusive authority to appoint or remove member states, decisions that can only be overturned by 2/3 majority. 60 countries have been invited to join as founding members. The New York Times obtained the draft charter revealing the board's scope extends far beyond Gaza. The charter's language states the board will secure enduring peace in areas affected or threatened by conflict. It advocates for a more agile and effective international peace-building organization, language suggesting the board would operate as alternative to UN mechanisms. Meaning, Trump isn't just trying to govern Gaza. He's trying to replace the United Nations Security Council, and he's charging $1 billion for the privilege. But back to Gaza. Let's break down the hierarchy of Trump's governance structure for the Strip. At the very top sits the Board of Peace, the entity Trump invited 60-plus countries to join and charged $1 billion for permanent seats. The Board of Peace provides international legitimacy, but no operational control. Below it is the founding Executive Board. Let's meet its 7 members. Trump himself chairs it, where as chair, he retains final authority over strategic decisions, reconstruction priorities, and governance appointments. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is also a board member. Rubio has received over $1 million in direct contributions from AIPAC and affiliated pro-Israel PACs, making him one of the top recipients of Israel lobby money in Congress. And his pro-Israel record is unambiguous. He stated publicly that the West Bank isn't occupied territory, has opposed any restrictions on U.S. military aid to Israel, declared that Palestinian statehood isn't realistic, said West Bank settlements are legitimate communities, and has consistently characterized Palestinian resistance as terrorism while defending genocidal Israeli actions as self-defense. Another board member is Steve Witkoff, Trump's longtime business partner and U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East. Witkoff is no diplomat. He's a billionaire real estate investor whose empire is built on luxury properties and distressed asset acquisition. While he has no background in West Asian politics, or politics in general, he does have decades of experience turning demolished properties into profit centers. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and chief architect of the so-called Abraham Accords, will also be serving on the founding executive board. Kushner has publicly called Gaza's coastal areas waterfront property, which he said are very valuable. Leaked documents from his planning reveal proposals to relocate, i.e. ethnically cleanse, up to 1/4 of Gaza's 2.1 million residents to clear prime coastal real estate for development zones. Jared Kushner was instrumental in the so-called Abraham Accords, which explicitly sidelined Palestinian rights and statehood in favor of economic normalization and security cooperation. More so, Kushner's private equity fund has investments in illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, making him a direct beneficiary of occupation. War criminal and former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair will also be a member of the founding executive board. His tenure as Prime Minister saw him launch an illegal war on Iraq based on fabricated intelligence about weapons of mass destruction, a war and subsequent occupation which killed over 1 million Iraqis. British forces committed systematic war crimes in Iraq between 2003 and 2009, with the Iraq Historic Allegations Team, IHAT, receiving over 3,500 allegations of abuse by British forces. Despite investigating for over a decade, IHAT achieved exactly 0 prosecutions. Documents released in December 2025 revealed Blair personally intervened to shield soldiers accused of war crimes from civilian courts and the ICC, During his time as Prime Minister, Blair backed the Israeli aggression on Lebanon in 2006 that killed over 1,000 Lebanese civilians. He served as Middle East Quartet envoy from 2007 to 2015, where he consistently supported Israeli positions, opposed Palestinian unity governments. He advocated for economic development in the West Bank while explicitly avoiding any challenge to Israeli settlement expansion or military occupation. Blair's approach has always been economy first, politics later, a framework that allows occupation to continue indefinitely while Palestinians are offered limited economic opportunities under continued Israeli control. The fifth member is Marc Rowan, CEO of Apollo Global Management, one of the world's largest asset management firms with over $840 billion in assets under management. Rowan is a major donor to AIPAC and has donated millions to pro-Israel organizations. He has publicly supported Israeli settlement expansion and opposed the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. Rowan describes himself as a proud supporter of Israel. Apollo Global Management also has investments in Israeli companies and infrastructure projects. In fact, his firm's business model is directly relevant here. Apollo profits from buying undervalued assets in crisis situations, restructuring them, and extracting returns. Gaza, with $70 billion in estimated reconstruction needs and 55 million tons of rubble, represents exactly the kind of distressed environment where private equity firms like Apollo operate. Rowan's presence on the board ensures that reconstruction financing will be structured in ways that benefit private equity investors, while maintaining frameworks acceptable to Israeli strategic interests. Ajay Banga, president of the World Bank Group, is the sixth board member. Banga controls the financing mechanisms that will fund Gaza's reconstruction. Under his leadership, the World Bank is establishing a reconstruction trust fund that will channel donor money into Gaza. Banga has stated that World Bank engagement in Gaza will require collaboration with international partners who have the full backing of the global community and the authorization to proceed with their initiatives. Translation: the World Bank will fund reconstruction, but only under governance structures it approves, using mechanisms it controls, toward development outcomes it defines. Robert Gabriel, U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor, rounds out the seven-member executive board. Gabriel is said to handle security coordination and intelligence sharing, ensuring the board's decisions align with U.S. national security priorities, which, in practice, means Israeli security requirements. Two senior advisors manage day-to-day operations. Aryeh Lightstone, a rabbi and former normalization negotiator who now runs the Abraham Accords Peace Institute. Lightstone worked directly under David Friedman, Trump's ambassador to Israel, who was an outspoken supporter of settlement expansion and opposed Palestinian statehood. And Per Haaretz, Lightstone was heavily involved in the formation of the criminal Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Lightstone's career has been built on normalizing Arab-Israeli relations without requiring any Israeli concessions on occupation or Palestinian rights. The other senior advisor is Josh Gruenbaum, an Orthodox Jew and commissioner of the U.S. General Services Administration's Federal Acquisition Service, the agency responsible for government procurement and contracting, where he spearheaded the financial crackdown on U.S. universities over pro-Palestine activism. He was also reportedly involved with Kushner in preparing Trump's Gaza Riviera plan. Below the founding executive board sits the 11-member Gaza Executive Board, which handles on-the-ground implementation and is intended to provide regional coordination and legitimacy. Jared Kushner, Tony Blair, Steve Witkoff, and Marc Rowan are also part of the Gaza Executive Board, plus 7 others. Hakan Fidan, the Turkish foreign minister, Ali Al-Thawadi, a Qatari diplomat, Hassan Rashad, the Egyptian General Intelligence Chief, Reem Al-Hashimi, the UAE Minister of International Cooperation, Yakir Gabay, an Israeli Cypriot billionaire, Sigrid Kaag, the UN Special Coordinator for Middle East Peace Process, Nikolai Mladenov, a senior Bulgarian politician. Mladenov will also serve as High Representative for Gaza, or in other words, the imperial governor with day-to-day control of the Strip, acting as a transmission belt between boards and Palestinians. Decisions flow down from the Executive Board, through the Gaza Executive Board, through Mladenov, to the Palestinian technocrats who implement them. acting as a transmission belt between boards and Palestinians. At the very bottom of the governance structure sits the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, NCAG, the 15-member Palestinian Technocratic Committee that manages day-to-day civil administration. Dr. Ali Shaath chairs this body. The NCAG can manage municipal services, but can't set security policy, negotiate with Israel, determine reconstruction priorities, or even enter Gaza without Israeli permits. Their first meeting had to be held in Cairo. So, who actually controls Gaza's future under this framework? Not the 15-member Palestinian Technocratic Committee, who manages services but cannot make political decisions. Also, not the Gaza Executive Board, which implements decisions made by the founding Executive Board and coordinates operations decided elsewhere. Power resides with the 7-member Executive Board, and more specifically, with the individuals who control the board's key functions. The framework doesn't bring peace or end the siege. It institutionalizes it. Rebuilds Gaza for investors. Palestinians get jobs in service industries, building infrastructure they won't own, in an economy they won't control, under governance they didn't choose. The Board of Peace is the privatization of Palestinian dispossession.